So people love to say things like, inflation is bullish, rates are bearish, liquidity is leaving the market, and it sounds convincing. But here is the thing, none of that actually trades. You can have the cleanest macro thesis in the world. You can be completely right about inflation, growth, or central banks, and the price still won't move a single tick. Unless someone places an order. That's the part most discussions skip. Markets don't move because of opinions. They move because orders interact with an order book. And today, I want to show you where the economy actually touches the market. Not through predictions, not through indicators, through mechanics. Let's start with the story we all know. Inflation goes up, central banks raise rates, growth expectations adjust, risk assets reprice or inflation cools. Cuts are expected, markets rally, and that narrative isn't wrong, but it's incomplete. Because macroeconomics does not directly move price, it moves expectations. And expectations only matter if they change behavior. Think about CPI day. The number prints, for a very brief moment, nothing happens. Then suddenly spreads widen, dip disappears, coats get pulled, and price jumps, not because inflation exists, but because participants change how they place orders. That's the missing transmission layer. Markets are often described as supply and demand. That's fine conceptually, but mechanically, markets are made of two things. Limit orders, sitting in the book, market orders consuming those limits. A limit order is basically someone saying, I'm willing to trade here. That's it. And the price you see on the chart is simply the last level where two orders matched. There is no built-in concept of fair value inside the matching engine. When price jumps 5 ticks, it didn't decide to go there. It just skipped levels where nobody was willing to trade. Empty space in the order book matters more than most indicators ever will. And that empty space is dynamic. It changes when people get uncertain. When macro data hits, institutions don't all press buy or sell instantly. What they often do first is cancel. They cancel quotes, they step back, and they wait. And during that waiting period, the market becomes fragile. Liquidity isn't being consumed, it's being withdrawn. And that distinction is important, because many large moves don't start with aggressive selling. They start with a lack of bids. Fear isn't always red candles. Sometimes fear is just silence on one side of the book, and silence creates sensitivity. To make this more concrete, I'll show you a simplified market simulation. This is not a prediction tool. It's just a way to isolate one effect. We start with a balanced order book. No trend, no news, no directional bias. Everything is symmetric. Now watch what happens as we gradually remove passive buy orders. Notice something. There is no dramatic selling. No panic. The structure just gets thinner. Now a relatively small market sell order hits the book. And the price gaps. That move wasn't caused by a massive selling pressure. It was caused by missing liquidity. The book was fragile, and fragility amplifies small actions. That's the mechanism. The chart says $80, the book, empty. No one is even quoting a price. Now let's imagine the exact same market order, same size, same timing, but this time the book is thick, deep liquidity, orders stacked on both sides. The same market order barely moves the price. So the difference wasn't the news, it wasn't the order, it was liquidity environment. And that's why professionals obsess with liquidity conditions, not headlines. So if liquidity stops price, you just look at the order book and trade the thick levels, right? Wrong. The order book is a map of intent, and intent can be faked. What you often see is just advertising. The real game isn't seeing the liquidity, it's understanding the intent behind every order. That's the difference between a retail chart watcher and the quantitative edge. And that is the quantitative lens. If you're interested in deep level breakdowns, subscribe to follow the series. Order filled. End video.